Hey guys, how's it going? We're just gonna let people filter in the show like usual for a minute or two, and then we'll get started. Okay. Hope everyone's having a lovely NBA week so far, because Pelicans we're not bad. We've overachieved a bit since we last talked, but changes still need to be made. So we're gonna talk about that today as well. Just give everybody a few more minutes to arrive inside the live stream, and then we'll get started. Oh, the Minnesota game has been postponed. Interesting. I did catch the Washington Wizards game earlier today. It was a good one. Trey Johnson went crazy, even though Charlotte pulled it out. It was a good one. Hey guys, welcome to the show. We are just waiting for a couple more people to filter in, um, get settled, get your favorite snack, get your favorite drink. Some NBA games going on or about to go on. Um, so just chill out for a minute or two and we'll get started. Just setting everything up because we have some very interesting trades that we can talk about today with regarding the New Orleans Pelicans, and I can't wait to talk about that. And one, I think, actually, both today are pretty spicy, and I think there's gonna be a lot. If we have conversation in the chat, I think there's going to be a lot of controversy there, but we'll see. We'll see. Just gonna post this on X real quick. Maybe get some more people in here before we start. Okay, guys, if you've entered the show, go ahead and leave a comment. Anything regarding the Pelicans, because as you know, that's gonna be our first segment. So that's kind of what I want to start to do is at the very beginning. Whoever comes in, leave any comment about the New Orleans Pelicans. It could be trades, the Rooks, any Zion stuff, doesn't matter. You can comment anything, and I'll try to address it throughout the show. Okay, I think we're about ready to go. All right. Okay, guys, hello and welcome to another live stream and episode of Down in the Bayou. My name is BayouSniper, collector on NBA Top Shot, New Orleans Pelicans super fan. Um, and this is Down in the Bayou. And if you've been with us before, as you know, we break it down into two segments. The first segment being Real Hoops. We go over the New Orleans Pelicans, how they've been doing as of late, any news with the team in terms of injuries, trades, rumors, whatever. And we also talk about the performance of the team on a week by week basis. So I'm kind of covering the team week by week through this live stream. And I will indirectly talk about other teams that I find fascinating around the league or players that spark my interest, particularly rookies. And I have a rookie to talk about today. I have some alpha on a rookie that I kind of want to give out. And then the second segment is real moments where we talk about what's going on NBA Top Shot, collecting strategy, which today I really want to focus on collecting goals on NBA Top Shot. So that's kind of going to be the jam for today's episode, if that is okay with everyone. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay. So the first segment, real hoops. We are going to talk about the New Orleans Pelicans' last two games, one being the Detroit Pistons and one being the Memphis Grizzlies. We went 1-1 over this past week, which is a nice surprise because usually we lose every freaking game that we play. Um, the Pistons game was not a good one for us. It was at home. Um, it just this is a bad matchup. Even without Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren absolutely destroyed us, which was kind of a given. We don't have a true center. We're putting a rookie, undersized four at the center position. So any center that is somewhat dominant will exploit that and wreck us. But the problem I have with the New Orleans Pelicans is it's not about us letting star players do their thing. The problem with the New Orleans Pelicans is we have this habit of letting role players absolutely have career nights against us every single time. Does not matter. It could be Jay Huff, Jacques Landale, Danis Jenkins. Um, it does not matter. We let these role players just absolutely fry us, and I think that that's a big part of why we lose all the time, is because we have no pride on the defensive end, and it's showing. And versus Detroit, one of my favorite teams in the East, probably my second favorite team in the NBA, if we're being honest, to watch. Even without Kay Cunningham, no problem. They dusted the Pelicans 112-104, and we then went to go 10-36 on the year. Then we had a little bit of a bounce back game versus Memphis. No Jaw, but Jaren was healthy. Jalen Wells, and we got the win, surprisingly, yesterday. Um, when I was watching the game, I was seeing some stuff I liked, especially Bay with a 36 piece. Uh, we're sharing the ball a little bit more, but unfortunately, same old Pelicans. I kind of have a heart attack in the fourth quarter, as I always do with the Pelicans. We're fake comeback kings. Memphis and Jaren and Cam Spencer are just gonna like absolutely destroy us in the fourth, and then it's over. But no, we held our ground. Zion looked good, um, and we won the game 133-127. Um, and before we get into trades, I have to address the Derek Queen. Like, it's not really hate. It's just like in our fan base, people are really quick to like, and in general, the NBA fans are just really quick to dispose of rookies if they're not playing amazing, which is really strange to me. Um, so Derek Queen, for instance, he was absolutely on fire in December. 33-point triple double, 30-point night versus Jokic. Another triple double uh, a week ago against the Wizards. Like, Derek Queen has been like a bright spot for us. Um, and we didn't really expect it, like rookies, it takes time, but he was like overachieving really early. And then recently he's had a little bit of a struggle, but he's still filling up the stats in each main category, being rebounds, points, and assists. He's still filling that up almost equally. He has his lapses, on defense or turnovers, whatever, but he's still got something on our offensive game. And he kind of drives everybody, makes Trey better. But he's had a little bit of a rough stretch in January, particularly compared to December. And I'm just seeing a lot of like, oh, nope, Queen's not the guy. Oh, Queen is not as good as we thought he was. Uh, oh no, Queen should be touchable in a trade. No one should be untouchable, even Queen. Like, man, this is what I hate about like overreactions both ways in the NBA is this kid has just turned 21. He's This is his first NBA season. Okay, he was out with an injury through training camp, so no training camp with the wrist, and he just rocked up to the league and started dropping triple doubles, like on a badly constructed roster with already a head coaching change like a quarter away through, less than a quarter away through his rookie year, with a new coach who obviously doesn't know what he's doing either, but he's still producing. Like, all this dysfunction around Derek Queen, and he's still producing. Like, sometimes you need to take a step back, zoom out, and see the whole picture. Derek Queen is absolutely him, and he will be. And you have to be patient. He needs development. And I I did crown him like as like, oh no, he's the centerpiece. And like people are like, oh, you crowned him too early. No, I didn't. He will be. Jeremiah Fears, like he's only 19. He's gonna make mistakes. Like he's gonna have bad games. He's gonna have bad stretches. He's 19 years old. Like these are rookies, guys. You don't start making like consensus kind of like, okay, we kind of know who you are. And about the third season, that like their third season, you kind of like get a gist of what their career is gonna be. But Jokic was making the same mistakes that Derek Queen was making his rookie year. And I'm sure if Twitter was more active during Nikola Jokic rookie year, you would see a lot of roasts happening against Jokic, whether it be defensive, he's slow, he's unathletic, like whatever. And now the dude is a multiple-time MVP, NBA champion, one of the best centers to ever play the game, if not the best. Um, and I'm not saying Derek Queen is going to be Nikola Jokic. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is he's going to be Derek Queen, and Derek Queen's going to be pretty damn good. You just have to take the lumps and take the development, get the right guys around them, be patient, build correctly, don't rush to rebuild, don't hit the emergency button just yet in terms of like, oh, we got to win now with Queen. No. We do need to hit the emergency button on this roster, but not in the way you think. I do have two. They would be considered win now moves. Um, that doesn't completely like destroy the team, and it makes sense because as a Pelicans fan, I think we need to give the keys to the rookies. Absolutely, Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen need to have the keys to this franchise, and they need to be able to do with it with what they please, right? So, um, I just really want the front office, the coaching staff, and just the general fan base to kind of get behind Queen, especially Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears, and kind of just believe and be patient and fully invest in them because what we have right now, the product on the floor is terrible. The fan base does not feel good, and we're almost all-star break, and this is not what we envisioned at all. Just cracking 11 wins. We're 11-36, and this is not how a prestiged franchise behaves in terms of on-court product and holding guys accountable. Um, so before we talk about the trades, we got to talk about Zion. Again, I mentioned this last week in the episode. I'm a Zion guy. Got his jersey. I collect his moments. I love Zion's game. Um, but for these trades, he's going to be included. For me, he's the first guy to go. Zion is the first guy to go. It's not an indictment on his talent on the court. No, it is just the fit and who we have now. And the Pelicans, as a fan base, we are, in my opinion, we are kind of over the Zion era. We would like to see him succeed somewhere else, but it can't be here. So even though Zion is, he's healthy, he's doing well, like if you look at the roster and the emergence of Derek Queen, especially, they won't be able to coexist successfully. And we have tried for 7 years with Zion Williamson. And now he needs to be someone else's hope and project because he can't be ours anymore. I can't stress that enough. I really do like Zion. I'm a fan, but it's time to give the keys to Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears because we are a directionless team and franchise right now with no real end in sight, and that has to change in order to, one, sell tickets, and number two, just keep the players like Trey, who are still young enough on this timeline with Queen, to stick around with him and believe. So I kind of see a parallel with the New Orleans Pelicans and the Detroit Pistons, actually, who we just played. Because if you think about Detroit a couple of years ago, they were the black eye of the NBA in terms of their record. They lost 28 straight games, which is unheard of. and that was really bleak for Cade. And Cade and Jalen Duren were there. They played almost all those games. Um, and if you know me, I'm a huge Cade Cunningham fanboy. I love Cade. However, they just weren't getting it done a couple years ago, and they're young. And Jalen Duren was only 19, 20. Like Cade Cunningham was like 22, 23. Like you have to give these guys patience. But the Detroit Pistons front office believed in Cade, they believed in Jalen Duren, they believed in the vision, and they just stuck with it. Last year, they built something even like more incredible than you could imagine if you were a Pistons fan 2 years ago. Like last year, they went from the bottom of the league to taking the New York Knicks, who makes the Eastern Conference Finals damn near year after year at this point. Um, took them to 7 games and almost got it done. Like, and this year they are my pick to win the East. The Detroit Pistons are, and there's no reason why the New Orleans Pelicans can't have that same fortune or same um, growth as a Detroit Piston team. There is no reason. We have Derek Queen. He can do everything on the floor. Jeremiah Fears is a really good prospect. Micah Peavy starting to come into his own. Like, if we stick with these guys and really develop them correctly and kind of open our arms and just take them in under like in full confidence. Like I fully believe the New Orleans Pelicans can be something special 2, 3, 4 years from now. But you have to commit. You can't do this half in, half out, 1 foot in, 1 foot out rebuild. It's not going to work. You have to fully commit. And that is what I want to see the New Orleans Pelicans do. And you can't do that without veteran leadership. You can't do that without a cornerstone already star to kind of mold the young guys. In my opinion, I love Trey. I think he's a star. He's not a superstar. What I'm talking about is you need a superstar who has good work ethic, who's healthy, and can show the young guys the ropes. So the superstar can still have a chance, right, to win. Maybe not championship, but get in there and make some noise, but at the same time develop the young guys. And those are the trades I'm looking at today. And I think they're going to be a little bit spicy. Okay, I'm just warning you right now. They're a little bit. I'm kind of overplaying my hand a bit. I don't necessarily think either of these trades will happen, but I'm excited to see if we can explore it, especially last night after what I saw with the Bucks and Giannis. So without further ado, let's get in our first trade. I've already mentioned it. I want to trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo. I want Giannis in a New Orleans Pelicans uniform alongside Queen. I want Giannis to play basically the 0.5, and I want Derek Queen to be the 4. He can also play the point as well as a 4. And those two together, like a defensive juggernaut like Giannis, helps and covers up the deficiencies of a Derek Queen, who's a little slow, a little unathletic, likes to play under the rim. I think their games would mesh really well. And man, can you imagine Trey Murphy, Zion? Or sorry, we're getting rid of Zion on this trade, by the way. Imagine Trey Murphy, Derek Queen, and Giannis Antetokounmpo sharing the 3, 4, 5. Like that would be absolutely insane on the same court. And math checks out. We can make the trade. So I have us, the New Orleans Pelicans, sending Zion Williamson, Herb Jones, and Carlo Maktovich to the Milwaukee Bucks for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Let me know what y'all think in the chat about that or the comments. I think that it makes sense to both sides. Fan bases may not agree, but I think it does make sense in a front office point of view, because Giannis is going to leave anyway. We know that. He is done. If you watched him last night, he is dejected. I'm not really sure if that injury is real. He's just kind of over it. And he wants to go. Does he want to go to New Orleans? Probably not, but maybe we can convince him, sell him on the Derek Queen vision. And Yeah, you know, if you look at it from the Milwaukee Bucks point of view, I mean, they're getting a 25-year-old superstar in Zion Williamson, who they could see promise in and recoup his value, and either make him the franchise cornerstone at a new home, or turn his career around and flip him. Um, Zion's making 39 million. Giannis is making 54 million. So you got to add some sweeteners to even get them talking about it. And one sweetener is one previous first team all defense player, Herbert Jones. So you send over Herbert in a package with Zion to kind of get the ball rolling and start making the Bucks think it's worth it, right? Um, Herb Jones fits like a glove in Milwaukee, in my opinion. He loves to fish. I think he would love the area. Um, you know, and they could build a little squad in the East around this. They already have Ryan Rollins, who I'm high on. You need some defense because Kuzma needs to go. So, Bucks are getting Zion and Herb, and then you throw in Maktovich, who actually I wouldn't mind keeping on the Pelicans roster because he's actually a spacer five, which Queen needs, right? But to get this trade done, we would need to add something else, also to fill salary, but also to get the Bucks thinking it's worth it, right? What's up, Thunder Hour? How's it going, buddy? Thunder Hour, if you're just joining us, I have now proposed a trade. After seeing last night's Milwaukee Bucks game, I think now is the time, if we were going to try to go after Giannis in a trade. Does he want to come to New Orleans? Probably not. But I feel like he is the perfect big to put next to a Derek Queen, and you could kind of sell him on that vision if you truly wanted to rebuild and kind of rush it a bit. Um, and we would send over to Milwaukee Zion, Herb, and Carlo. Um, you get a defensive stopper, first team all defense player who wants to leave anyway. And then you get Zion Williamson, a superstar who is getting healthy in his body and producing at great numbers this year, who could be the franchise cornerstone, or you could rehabilitate his value and flip him. And you also get a young prospect in Carlo. I really don't think this is a bad trade for both sides, because I am under the impression that Giannis is going to leave anyway. And this makes sense money wise, and also makes sense team fit wise if you look at both teams. Um, so let me know what y'all think in the comments about that trade. I think that it is possible. Is it going to happen? Probably not, because Giannis probably wants a bigger market. But that's the thing with Giannis, is like he doesn't super care about that, and I think New Orleans could be a destination for him. Um, and dude, Giannis in a Pelicans uniform will be absolutely sick. Next to Queen, those big to big lobs, high post, low post, like. And by the way, never trading Trey in these mock trades for these next couple weeks until the trade deadline ends. Never trading Trey. I said it in a previous episode. You don't want to trade Trey Murphy because he is going to be the player that you look for to pair with Queen the rest of Derek Queen's career. You already have him. He's a homegrown talent. Keep him. There's no reason to trade Trey Murphy. Zion is the odd man out. We have seen this if you watch the Pelicans game for the past 10 to 15 games. Like, Queen and Zion cannot coexist. They operate in the same space in a different way. It's not going to work. It's time to lean into Derek Queen. So let me know what you think about that trade. Now we're going to get into an even spicier trade, not because of talent for talent, because of who this person is. So, I'm bringing back someone to the Big Easy. I'm bringing back a player, and he's one of my favorites. And I think if we're going to do it, now is the time. Again, the theme is we're looking for bigs who can pair well next to Derek Queen. And this big in particular, I think would be a perfect match for Derek Queen. Honestly, even more than Giannis, because Giannis also likes to get downhill. This big is the prototypical, if it can stay healthy, big two pair next to Zion. I keep saying Zion because he's in all these trades, and I'm used to talking about Zion as a centerpiece, but that's over. Um, Two pair with Derek Queen, and that is we call up my home state in Texas. We call good old Dallas Mavericks, and we inquire about one Sir Anthony Marshawn Davis to come back to New Orleans to rebuild his legacy back in New Orleans, to make things right, mend the fence, and do something with Derek Queen. So I'm taking a flyer on Anthony Davis. He's already injured. He doesn't want to. Rich Paul has already said that Anthony Davis doesn't want to stay in um, in Dallas. He needs to be moved by the trade deadline, and New Orleans can do it because we have a player that Dallas has wanted for a long time. And again, we can sell the hope of Zion Williamson to another team. I really think so. And I think Dallas is just the team to do that. So in this trade, we send over Zion Williamson and Herb Jones for $53 million, and we get back Anthony Davis for $54 million. Think about it. Anthony Davis has a new wind being back where he was drafted, and he didn't leave properly. This gives him a chance to kind of really close that chapter and do something great. And by great, I mean mold Queen, teach Queen, make the city love him again. We would definitely retire his number if he did this. It's more of a legacy thing for Anthony Davis, and he's still a top 2 player in the league when he's healthy, easily. And he is the rim protecting, spacing big that you need next to Derek Queen. So Trey, Anthony Davis, and Derek Queen, that's a really good team. And I really like the thought of Anthony Davis coming back to New Orleans. What's up, Banana? Banana, I just went over some trades. You're in the second one, the second spicy one. The first spicy one was we were getting Giannis, and we were sending over Zion, Herb Jones, and Carlo because I think Giannis is time for him to leave, and we could try now. But I think the one we're talking about right now is more realistic. We are getting back Anthony Davis back to New Orleans, and we send over Zion and Herb to Dallas to build around Cooper Flag. There's a Duke connection with Cooper and Zion, and then Anthony Davis could take Derek Queen under his wing, get the city to love him back again. It's more about legacy with Anthony Davis. He could make things right. We could make some noise at the bottom of the West in terms of like play in and maybe playoffs as a 6 seed. And it would just like I really think no one else, honestly, even though he is the one of the better, I see he is damn near like like if he played all games this year, Anthony Davis would be an all-star. Like let's not get it twisted. He's an amazing talent still. It's just the health thing. But Anthony Davis next to Derek Queen and Trey Murphy is an absolute squad. Absolutely. And then Jeremiah Fear's development getting downhill. You trade for a Michael Porter Jr. as well if you can. Man, you're making noise in the West. And I think no other team really wants Anthony Davis, if I'm being frank. And New Orleans is a good fit for that because we already have history with him, and we can really, really sit down and say, hey, it's more about legacy with you. Like, we want to retire your number. We love you here. You are beloved. And I think the fans would open it with welcome arms, and it would be a really good story. And New Orleans needs a good story. So those are my 2 trades, Giannis and Anthony Davis. Same package pretty much. Zion and Herb's salaries work really well together to send over because, it's about $53 million, which is about a superstar in today's league. And these are more nuanced win now moves. This is not a rush rebuild move like I was talking about. I don't want us to rush the rebuild, but this is a more nuanced one where I think it does make sense. Anything else I'm not really interested in. I've seen the Zion to the Bulls rumors, and I'm okay with it as long as we're getting picks back. I don't really like. I do want Vucevic if we do that because he is a spacing big, kind of like to get Queen a year of reps with the spacing big so we can see what that looks like. But I really hang up the phone if I'm the Pelicans and Lakers call me about Herb Jones. I'm not going to trade him to a contender in the West, and I'm not going to trade him to the Lakers because, pardon my French, but fuck the Lakers. I'm not trading him to the Lakers. Um, I think Dallas is fine, and Anthony Davis needs to come home. He does because he would be loved, just as if KD ever went back to Oklahoma City, if he ever went back, he would be loved. He would be. They would open him with open arms, and I think Thunder Hour can attest to that. I mean, you're not going to blow up your squad for him. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if KD found his way back reasonably to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he said like, "Hey, let's squash whatever we had. I want my jersey retired here. I do love the city. I want to make it right." Thunder fans are loyal. They would open him with open arms. Um, Banana, I'm trying to think of a parallel. Because DeMar DeRozan isn't really a good comparison because he got traded. He didn't leave in a bad way. So the Raptors, I guess I have no comparison there. You could say Kawhi, but he was there for a year. It doesn't really check out. But there's a few guys in the league who could do this move, right? Where when they left, it was sour and they could come back, almost like a LeBron arc. Most likely, they're not going to win a championship, but that's for a small market. It's enough for you just to come back and mold a young guy. It's enough. Um, so that is my two trades for the New Orleans Pelicans. And if we look at the roster, like, man, I see three. Okay, I see one untouchable player, and I see two that you would have to absolutely blow me away with trades. Other than that, everyone can go, and I mean everyone. Even my boy Jordan Hawkins, he needs a change of scenery, and I'll support him wherever he goes. But he needs to go. Jordan Poole definitely needs to go. That guy's a clown. Um, Herb needs to go. Zion needs to go. Kevon Looney needs to go. Sadiq Bey's been balling, but he needs to go. Like, I don't see anybody. Like, I love Jose. He probably needs to go. There's no one. No one is untouchable besides Derek Queen. If your name is not Derek Queen from Baltimore, you're touchable. You're touchable and tangible. We can trade you. Um, I would rather not get rid of Trey and Fears as the other two because I feel like they are building blocks in a positive direction with the New Orleans Pelicans. But other than that, everybody's touchable. Everybody's touchable, especially Zion Williamson and especially Herb Jones. Because if you've been watching the Pelicans games, Micah Peavy is basically Herb Jones on a cheap deal. He's the new Herb Jones. The guy is balling. And we have him for cheap now. It makes no sense to keep Herb Jones. He's 28. People don't realize how old he is. Like in NBA years, like he's 28. He's not going to fit the timeline. And Giannis is in a very vulnerable place right now. And all I'm saying is make a call. Officer Joe Dumars, make a call. Have a donut with Giannis. Sit down. Be like, hey, listen, we got this guy named Derek Queen. He's the next Jokic. And you could really help his career and you would be loved in the city. And we have a hard working culture. Like, let's get it done, Giannis. Who knows? And then Anthony Davis, I think it's actually an easier sell. No one really wants AD, but we want you to come back, cement your legacy here, and help our young guys. And AD at this point in his career probably look back and understand that, you know, he's older now. People make mistakes, and it's time to mend some fences that were once broken. And my guy Anthony Davis, you can come back. You can. We'll welcome you, right? So that is my trade talk. Let's look at the upcoming schedule we play Oklahoma City Thunder soon. We for the New Orleans Pelicans. Our next 5 games are pretty rough, besides one. So we play San Antonio. That's an L. Oklahoma City. That's a super L. Memphis, winnable. Philadelphia, moderately winnable, probably a loss. Charlotte, they're playing well, probably a loss. So that's what I'm saying, man. You can't. So the trade deadline, funny enough, the trade deadline ends when we are in Milwaukee. Yeah, our last game on that trade deadline date is in Milwaukee. Make the call. Make the call, Joe. We're already in Milwaukee. Giannis can just get on the plane with us. It's okay. Zion and Herb can stay in Milwaukee, um, enjoy the cheese curds, and pick out their new numbers for their team. It's an easy swap, Joe. The trade deadline. We're in Milwaukee. It couldn't be more perfect. Giannis to the New Orleans Pelicans confirmed. Just saying. All right. So, guys, that is our first segment of Down in the Bayou, where we talk real hoops and we talk about the New Orleans Pelicans. Now we are going to shift our focus to our beloved NBA Top Shot, where we spend all of our time and money, and we absolutely love it. If you don't know, really quickly, NBA Top Shot is a NBA licensed NFT collectible that is actually dynamic with highlight video, not just a standstill card, with a great community, an awesome website, and exciting drops that happen spaced out and just with the best players you can imagine. The rookies are on here. Cooper's on here with his signature. Just an awesome platform to actually collect if you love NBA. So we're in kind of a weird place with NBA Top Shot right now, and because of just the timing, like nothing bad's happened. It's just like it's a weird lull where the drop happened 2 weeks ago, but there's nothing new announced yet, so we're just kind of like in limbo. So there's not like a ton to talk about, but for those of you listening, I have some alpha on a new rookie that has piqued my interest. That is only $2 a debut. It's only $2 for his debut. And I would like to talk about the Miami Heat point guard from Illinois via Lithuania, Kasaparas Yakachonis, number 25 for the Miami Heat. His debut is only $2 right now. And if you've been watching my activity on NBA Top Shot at BayouSniper, you have seen my recent purchases of him. I've already stacked 22 of his debuts off of a spur of the moment because I really sat down, analyzed his game. I do have an NBA comp for him and his upside if you're interested in that. And it was good enough to make me buy his moments. And I bought the jersey cereal for $100, $120, which I think will in turn be a Keyshawn George effect in the future. Which, if you don't know, I bought I bought the jersey cereal and the number one rookie debut of Keyshawn George for $100 a piece. His rookie year when nobody was really on him, and I usually keep all my moments, but I needed money for Derek Queen, so I said, okay, I'll just keep the number one debut and sell the jersey cereal debut if I get an offer I like, because Keyshawn this year has been balling. He has ascended. And yeah, I sold it for $500. So quick $400 turnaround on just believing in a guy. And I believe, not financial advice, obviously. I'm talking about NBA and the players and their moments. I believe Kasaparas Yakachonis could have that effect. I think he is a star in the making. And his shot, he's shooting better from three than he is the field. His drives and his physicality on the offensive end need to be improved, but his shot mechanics are there. He's shooting 40% from three. Like, the dude is an absolute menace on defense in terms of his mentality. He's in the Heat. He's already a Heat culture guy before he got there. That's why they drafted him. He's a hard worker. He's 6'6", handles the ball really well. And when he starts, he's averaging 10, 5, and 5 when he starts. Or is it 15, 5, and 5? Look at that stat up. But it's like, you see that kind of with the Queen thing. Like, you see the PRA, points, rebounds, assists, and he's feeling, when you see a player, Keyshawn does the same thing for me. When you see a player that fills all three stats up to a certain degree, and it makes like a chart like this with like probably points being a little higher, to me that's my indicator of okay, he's got it. And Yakachonis has that. And his moments right now are $2 a pop on NBA Top Shot. I'm telling you, that is not going to be the price in the future. It can't be. In my mind, it can't be. And here is Kasaparas's NBA comp for me. He is clearly like, I don't think people have even made this comparison yet, but he resembles one of my favorite NBA players in the league as a rookie when I go back and watch his rookie tape. Yakachonis shares a lot of parallels to Indiana's own Tyrese Halliburton. Yeah, you heard it here first. Kasaparis Yakachunas from the Miami Heat, his NBA comp for his ceiling is Tyrese Halliburton from the Indiana Pacers, who got drafted by the Sacramento Kings, who took Indiana Pacers to Game 7 in the finals last year. I see him averaging 18 points a game, 19 points a game, 10 assists per game, 7 rebounds a game throughout his career. And I feel like he has the clutch gene. Like, he just oozes it to me. And I don't know why. I really think he's a player that you could buy low now on, and it would pay off dividends later in terms of his stock. Because he is a Heat culture guy already. He works really hard. Coach Spo is in love with this dude. Pause. His game. His three-point shot is fluid. It's there. His handle is fluid. It's there. He's got creativity. And his defense, he's a real menace on the defensive end if you watch him. And if he can just get to where he can finish at the rim at will, like Tyrese can, hey, look out, man. I was so stoked when I saw his jersey only selling for $120. I was like, this should easily, right now, with him not getting playing time, I wouldn't sell it for under 300. And I just popped it, man. I think Kasparas Yakachunas has the potential not to be like an ethereal superstar. That's not what I'm saying. I think he's going to be a star, kind of on that Trey Murphy level, but like Tyrese Halliburton, like where it's like in an interesting place because he's with the Heat. Tyrese is with the Pacers. The way they play them, Tyrese is a superstar. Even though his stats don't scream superstar, he's a superstar. And I think Yakachonis has the same vibe. And yeah, I'm super pumped about this like new rookie I found. Like I'm not saying I'm like a visionary or anything, but I have hit, I would like to say, I have hit on most of my draft picks the past couple of years on NBA Top Shot. Keyshawn, Edie, Derek Queen. Jordan Hawkins was the one that we're still like, ooh, we don't know yet. But that was more of a homegrown love type thing. But the Keyshawn and Edie thing, like I knew, and people didn't even think that Edie could play in the NBA. And now he was when he came back this past year, he was dominating. Keyshawn damn near triple double every night, like, and that's kind of what I see with Casaparas. Like, I just, and he could have a cool nickname, man. Casper the Ghost. Can't catch him. But I really do like Yakachonis. And at $2 a debut, it's really hard to not justify having his moment and picking up like $10 worth. So get 5 of them, and that stack could turn into something much more valuable down the line. Could, and I believe it will. That's why I got his jersey cereal. And for him, I'm just going standard right now because that's kind of my formula. Is I want to go standard with like Yegor Dioman. I'm doing the same thing. Like I'm high on Yegor. I kind of see there's similar parallels with Yegor and Yakachonis. But I'm just going standard debut versions until they prove even more to me, and then I'll upgrade. But yeah, I'm gonna try to stay first on his leaderboard as well. Um, but yeah, there's your alpha right there. Kalsiparas Jakachunas from the Miami Heat, number 25, point guard, 6'6", Lithuania, played college ball, Illinois. He can do everything. He's a PRA machine. Points, rebounds, assists, good defense. To me, he's Tyrese Halliburton. Could be. His floor to me is Goran Dragic, which is, I think it's a high floor, right? It's like that's a great player. And $2 a moment is egregious. To me, it is. Um, so yeah, now I kind of want to shift the focus from moments to more collector strategy talk, because this is one thing I am passionate about on NBA Top Shot, is not necessarily what we're collecting, it's how people are collecting. And that's what interests me the most. So I just kind of wanted to share my collecting strategy and how I view NBA Top Shot. And I would love in the comments or chat if you could just tell me your collecting strategy. Maybe I like your collecting goals or your ethos or like whatever it is, like how you collect. I would love to dive more into that in our community, because I think there's a lot of information out there and a lot of different ways to collect that maybe someone else would like to do as well, but they just don't know how. So I will go over mine really quickly. For me, I am anti-set, which is kind of a hot take. I don't like sets because that means I have to collect junk in my eyes. Like in my eyes, like for instance, people love Joel Embiid. I hate Joel Embiid. I'll never collect his moment. So to me, like his moments are junk, right? So like I don't want to collect things I don't love. And sets forces you to do that. So I am very withdrawn from a set. I don't do sets. And I kind of broke my rule just once with the honors last year, just because 90% of the players I loved in that set, and I stacked the Edie's honors, so that fits into my collecting goal, which I'll tell you in a second. Yeah, so I'm not a set guy, and that's the reason why. And I can't stand having thousands of moments. I will never. I'm at kind of a sweet spot right now. So like under 1,000 is like where I want to be. Why, you may ask? Because you see me all the time. I collect all the time. It's not that I'm targeted with my collection. I don't just like for one, I'm not a whale. I'm not. I'm just a regular guy who has a collecting strategy that works for me. So I spend a lot on my guys, but I don't spend a lot as a whole, if that makes sense. I'm not a whale. I'm just more of like a targeted mako shark, I guess you could say, maybe, or like a sea lion or something. Um, but yeah, I have 423 moments right now in my collection, and that is kind of my jam. Is I envision my collection as like a curated, hand-picked museum of my favorite players. And I that's why I don't see me buy commons. I don't. It's pretty much rare, legendary only for me. And if it is a common, my rule is it has to be a rookie debut of a player that I believe in. So I don't collect Hoop Vision. I don't collect base set. I no, that is it. Like that's the thing, is like I want you to tell me your collecting strategy, because I'm not looking down on that. What I'm saying is like that is not what makes me happy, and that's how I view collecting. Where I don't want to do that. I don't want to muddle my collection with like thousands of common moments. So I don't collect commons unless they're a rookie debut of my favorite team or player. Um, and the only commons I don't have the rookie debut is strictly only for team sets to climb the team leaderboard, which I want to transition now into leaderboard, because leaderboard utility is a huge part of my collecting strategy and goals. If you know, I'm a leaderboard fanatic. I'm always on leaderboards, whether that be burning, um, auctions, whatever. Like you see my name a lot there, and there's a reason for that, because this is my main collecting strategy. So buckle in. So my main collecting strategy, for instance, I have 423 moments in my collection, with a grand total Top Shot score of 360,537, which most people have like 3,000 moments in order to get that Top Shot score, but I only have 400. The reason being is I have a certain strategy when it comes to rookies, especially that I like, and vets of my favorite players like Anthony Davis, Jaylen Brown, Russell Westbrook, like these. What I like to do is I like to save all my money and buy the special cereal first. I try to go for the number one. So I go for the number one. If I can't, I'll get the jersey. That's fine. But if I can get both, that's even better. So I'm more of a premium special cereal guy. And what I do for rookies is I identify my guy who has upside, who is not a top guy like a Cooper. I don't do that because there's no chance. But Derek Queen was a perfect scenario for this. Keyshawn even better than last year. So I find a rookie that has a severely high upside, which people are kind of underrating. I'll buy their specials for cheap, lock them, and then I'll stack that same moment. So, for instance, Zach Edey, I earned his number one honors. So I got his number one honors from being number one on his leaderboard at the end of the year. So I have his number one rookie minted to 145 honors moment, which I think is an amazing moment. So this summer, if you saw, what I did was I bought 40 other ones of them. I bought 40 other ones of them. Why? Number one, I want to control the ED market. So that's what I like to do, is I like to buy special cereal and then I'll stack that same moment. But I don't hold them for too long and I don't sell them. What I love to do is I love to burn those moments to make my number one even more scarce. That's what gives me a rush on NBA Top Shot, is I like to buy the special cereal, stack the same moment of that special cereal, and then burn it to the ground, where I have super scarce number ones everywhere. And you've seen it from me since I started collecting, if you really paid attention. The Anthony Davis season 3 Deck the Hoops, bought the number one. What did I do? Now every year I try to buy one and burn it. Now there's only 50 in circulation. Zach Edey, honors number one. There was 145 total when that moment got minted. Myself personally, I have burned 42 of them and it is down to 103. This is what gives me like joy in collecting, is like I kind of make my own destiny with the moments. I believe in a guy, stack it, burn it, keep the special. And that's something, like, if you're a new collector and that interests you, like, talk to me about it. I would love to share how I do it or like why I do it. But that's kind of my jam on NBA Top Shot. That's what I like to do. And I don't overextend. Like, I know my limit. I pick 2 or 3 rookies every year, and that's what I do. Like this year, it's Derek Queen, Yegor, and outside Yakichonis right now, and I won't go past that. But that's what gives me joy in collecting, is acquiring the premium best moments of that player and then using those moments to burn it to the ground and make it more scarce. And I'll do the same thing with Queen. Because of me, pretty much the Queen debut is under 900 now. It's like 886 debuts only, because I burned it to get all 10 auctions of the MG Elite. So now my number one and jersey and perfect of the Queen debut is super scarce. And that's kind of what gives me a rush. Yeah. So I just love to share my strategy, and maybe that resonates with some of you, and maybe that's a strategy that you want to undertake as well. But you don't have to, right? That's the beauty of Top Shot, is I love hearing other people's strategies and how they collect, and then people can make their opinions based on that and execute. Yeah. So guys, thank y'all so much. That's going to do it for me today on the live stream. Just to recap, the Pelicans need to make a trade. We need to make a change. We are tired. The season's not going well, but we have 2 young studs in Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears. It's time to build around them. Trades I talked about today, sending over Zion, Herb, and Carlo for Milwaukee Bucks superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo, or we call Dallas, bring back AD, Anthony Davis home from Dallas to New Orleans, give them Zion and Herb to exchange. And also gave you some alpha on a rookie in the Miami Heat that I'm high on, Yakichonis, number 25, 6'6" guard from Lithuania, played college ball at Illinois. Look up his moment, only $2 a pop there. And then I talked about my collecting strategy, which is a curated small selection of moments, premium serials, stacking that same moment and burning it to the ground. That's kind of my collecting strategy. I would love for y'all to comment on the YouTube video when this gets posted, your collecting strategy, so I can have something to talk about next week about somebody else's collecting strategy. So, guys, that's going to do it for me. Thank y'all so much for listening to Down in the Bayou. Love y'all, and I'll see y'all next week.